What is going on? It is Coach Cal here, an online fitness coach with over 5,000 transformations over the last 10 years of business. And I'm very passionate about this topic today, which is going to be simply why you aren't seeing long-term results. Now, I know so many people who start their fitness journey, they go through dieting phases, and they just never end up sticking with it. The truth is, most of us know what we need to do, we just don't actually do it. We know we need to eat better, meal prep, hit our macros, start to do some strength training, move more, but we have to ask ourselves the real reason why we don't do it for a certain amount of time or we're not actually consistent with it. Now, one of the biggest reasons I see most people fail on their journey, even myself, the few times that I've failed on my dieting journey, is just being half in and half out. Maybe there's a specific day where you go to the beach, you feel like you need to look better. So you say, you know what? I'm going to start dieting. I'm going to start to eat better, but it doesn't actually mean something to you, right? You kind of set this goal maybe when you're super excited, maybe when you're motivated, or maybe when something goes wrong and you're like, I'm going to try this thing. So you end up giving partial efforts. You're kind of sold on the topic of getting in shape, but you're not 100% in. You're kind of dipping your toes into the water, but you haven't fully immersed yourself or fully jumped in. So looking back on my journey, there have been a lot of successful dieting phases where I said, hey, for 12 weeks, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Here's the game plan. Here's a strategy. Here's why it means something to me. I was very successful, but the 3 or 4 times throughout my journey where I said I was going to do it, it was maybe because of an external circumstance. Maybe someone else kind of gave me a goal. Maybe I kind of wanted it, but didn't really actually care. Maybe I didn't even really need to do it, but I just thought it'd be fun to do. And I failed a few times, right? I've failed a few times on my journey where I said I was going to do something, but I wasn't fully in. I would give in to a lot of other circumstances where there would be extra food or I wouldn't track my calories some days. And the truth is that I was half in. I was 50% in, maybe 60% in. I wasn't 100%. And I see so many people on their journey do this where they start it, but they don't actually go all in. They don't say no to those extra opportunities to go over calories. They end up skipping their workouts a lot. And the truth is, while this fitness journey is an easy journey where you should be able to fit into your lifestyle, you should be able to stay consistent, I find so many people struggle because of the half in and half out circumstances. Now, the issue with this approach as well is it gives you the illusion that you're working hard, right? You feel like you're sticking to a diet, but maybe you're doing it for 4 days and then 3 days you're off, but you still feel like you're doing it. So you feel like you're putting in the work, you feel like you should be getting the results, but you're actually not. And that's just because you're not giving it 100%. Now, don't get me wrong. There will be days where you may miss a workout. You may go over calories for someone's birthday or whatever it is. Life happens, but the issue is if you're giving 50% effort, you're going to get 50% results. If you're giving 100% of what you can do in that moment, you will get 100% of the results. So reflecting back on my journey, the times where I failed, even for powerlifting meets, when I would go to hit a personal record, there would be days where I would skip my compounds. There would be days I would skip my recovery. I kind of just wanted to do it because I thought it'd be fun to do. I wasn't actually successful because I wasn't bought in. I wasn't 100%. And the truth is, it didn't even mean that much to me, right? So looking back on my journey, the amount of failures I've had, which, hey, in order to succeed, you have to fail. Those times I did really fail, it was just because I was half in and half out. I was partially doing the work. The goals that I set kind of meant something to me, but I wasn't fully bought in on the process. I wasn't giving it my absolute all. So I'm going to give you a few different takeaways of how do I actually stay on track when it comes down to setting these goals, sticking with it, and what are things that will actually help me be able to push forward, to be able to give 100% or to fully jump in the water instead of just dipping my toes in. So I'm a very big fan of SMART goal setting, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Like I said, the times that I failed, I would wake up, I would say, you know what? I'm going to try to lose a bit of weight. We'll see how it goes. I didn't really set specifics. It was kind of a loose goal. And to me, this is the one way to make sure that you're all in, right? When there's very specifics where I can actually monitor my progress, even when it comes down to a dieting phase, when I know that I have 12 weeks ahead of me where I need to be in a deficit, that's a lot easier than just thinking the rest of my life is going to be in a deficit, right? So in the past failures, I would kind of set very loose goals. They didn't really mean that much to me, and they wouldn't have an actual time frame, so I wouldn't fully commit. Whereas if I know I have a 30-day challenge with my clients, which we do pretty often, or a 12-week dieting phase where I need to lose 20 pounds, I can break that down, and it makes it so much easier. Like I said, It's very hard knowing the next year you're going to be trying to lose 100 pounds. Like, you need to break it down into time frames and little chunks that's going to actually hold you accountable with that. And that's obviously my tip number 2, which is just accountability. Now, a lot of people, unfortunately, won't care if you put in the work. If you say, I'm going to set a goal, most people won't follow up with you. Most people won't hold you accountable. They won't call you out, even if it's at a get together and you shared with someone, hey, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Most people won't even say anything if they see you completely going overboard, because the truth is they don't actually care. So I am a really big fan of getting some accountability. Once again, you have to look for it, and there's some people who will actually genuinely care. It could be some gym buddies. It could be your spouse, where you say, hey, listen, I'm all in on this. I want to be realistic and I want to set these goals and accomplish it. Hold me accountable. But obviously having a coach really, really makes a big difference, because we're unemotionally attached, right? We can tell you what you need to do. We'll hold you accountable. You're paying us to help you out. Even as I said at the start of this video, I've helped over 5,000 people lose weight. And that's because they've hired me to give them the actual protocols to hold them accountable, to help them out, and to create a perfect game plan for them. So first link down below if you want to apply. I promise you it'll be the greatest thing you ever do. Having accountability and having someone unemotionally attached who's going to help you out makes such a big difference. And one of the most important things, number 3, is finding your why. This is going to take some time. You're going to have to sit down with yourself and figure out, why do I want to stick to this? And what does this actually mean to me? Like I said, I see a lot of people half in and half out because they set very loose goals and things that don't actually matter. So for example, if you have 20 or 30 pounds to lose, some people will have some vain goals for having abs, which can help out if it means enough to you. But I find the people who have deeper whys relating to their family, relating to confidence, relating to their health, such as blood pressure and living longer and, not being diabetic, these people, I find it's easier to stay on track because the why actually means something to you. So I'm a really big fan of actually sitting down with yourself, pen and paper. You could even go through an exercise, which I'll put down below. It's a link to an exercise called 7 layers deep. When you sit down and you say, hey, I have a goal I want to hit, and you keep asking yourself, why do I want to hit it? It gets very deep. So let's say you want to lose 30 pounds and you say, because I want to feel better. You'd ask yourself, why? Well, because my kids are in my life now and I want to be a great example for them. Why? Well, because I didn't have that growing up and I saw the way that my father was. Why? And you keep asking yourself, you can get super deep. It's going to help you out. And on those tougher moments where you want to skip the gym, where you don't want to eat well, you think of your deep why, it's going to hold you accountable so much more. So these are 3 takeaways. I didn't want to overwhelm you, but I just see so many people setting goals, failing. And if you look at the rate of failures within the fitness journey, it's insane. I don't know the exact percentage, but we want you to be the exception. We want you to set goals, conquer them, think what's going to be the next goal, and actually consistently hit it. And like I said, if you're struggling on your journey, you need accountability, you need support. I will be there for you every single step of the way, guaranteed results or your money back. But like I said, this journey can be fun. It's a lot more fun when you get results. As you get results, you become addicted. You just have to go all in and stop giving partial efforts. When you give partial efforts, you get partial results. So thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, if it helped you out, smash that like button. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for spending time with me. Peace out.